let's get started. Hang on there, hold on. And welcome to the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad you're here. It's what day? It's Thursday, so I'm starting later than normal, and this is new people who've been just enjoying the show for a very short time. Might not know this, but I have family FaceTime on Thursdays, and so that predated the show. So today gets bumped an hour later. I hope that didn't panic anyone, because there is, quite frankly, enough panic going on in the world right now, especially among the MAGAts and QAnon faithful. That's right, some of you may have seen this lovely lady in the last couple of days. I have intentionally not watched this video because it was making the rounds and I wanted to see it with you. So this is a lady who was a former huge QAnon. She was trying to help. She's been trying to get Q's attention. Never mind the fact that it was multiple people, and then it was Ron Watkins and his fucking dad, who were total creeps and very weird, running this kind of like sideline cult business that they were hoping to kind of monetize and then turn into, I guess, a congressional run for the Sun later on. Didn't so much work out. Kind of collapsed on itself. Was always bullshit. But, you know, it's nice to see some of them finally waking up to it, allegedly. Let's hear what this lovely lady has to say. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. She's young. She's impressionable. When she gets a little bit older, she'll work this stuff out for herself. But, you know, the young'uns, they have the poorest brains, and it's easy to pull the wool over their eyes, you know. Let's see, shall we? If we may. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's HAL, SPARKS, Mega Worldwide. Here we go.
Roll the camera. There are a lot of orbs here right now.
Okay, first of all, little loud. Also, not orbs. You have a dusty, nasty house full of dander. Not orbs. Orbs are like this size and float through photographs and the like. If you watch any of those paranormal shows, they focus on those. I did, Celebrity Paranormal Project, which, of course, the scariest thing was hanging out with Gary Busey all night. But the orbs are like this size compared to your head. They're not dust particles floating through the fucking screen. Get a fucking vacuum cleaner or a HEPA filter. They're probably part of a big plot. HEPA filter is probably there to suck the real air out of the air. You know, the goodness, whatever, the Jesus out of the air.
But that's okay, because nothing you say or do right now, Q, is going to stop me.
Mm-hmm. Well, since Q isn't saying anything, we'll move on.
Fuck off, all of you.
What'd I do? I was telling you the whole time this was bullshit, lady. I was accidentally on your side. You fuck off. No, you fuck off.
Seriously.
Okay, well, at least you filled out the proper form.
I quit. I quit Q and Q Army. And the reason why I quit is because on December 19th, 2022...
It took you that fucking long, did it?
Q refused to acknowledge my Q plus 3730. And
the fucking nerve, okay? Listen. By the way, please let me at the end of this video find out that this woman is in Q's house. Like some sort of psycho Britney fan who came in through a vent.
And I've been doing it for 6 years.
I've been doing it for a lot longer, and I'm way better at it than... Never mind. We're not talking about the same thing. We're not, are we? Okay.
Next year, that means I have to wait for another year. Look at all these orbs. You guys, get lost.
It's dust. By the way, she said get lost to the ghosts and other people, the spirits visiting her.
Lost. I'm not coming back, no matter what you...
Yeah, yes. The ghost spirits protecting the QAnon community are not going to convince this lady to not leave. I'm just going to say that if there were really ghosts and they were like, don't leave, I would kind of listen to them, because they would be extratemporal beings and they would be saying, you know, hang in there just a little while longer. I know it feels like it's all bullshit, but trust us. Unless they're prankster ghosts, which, quite frankly, are the worst kind.
You do right here with these orbs, just so you know, no matter what happens from here on in, Q, I'm not coming back. You're on your own. And in fact, I'm taking down the ET transmissions. Fuck.
What? Hold on.
Fuck you. Fuck.
Hold on. Easy. Okay. First of all, I hate that the youngins think this passes for, conversational language in polite company. Look, This might be all right with your young punk rock generation swearing like this, ma'am. But there might be grandmothers watching.
All of you on this planet.
You're going to be exhausted.
All right, I tried to give the ET transmissions to Lara Logan. I tried to give them to Steve Bannon. Lara Logan, I got gang raped a whole bunch of times. Therefore, I'm a legit journalist. Bullshit.
Whoa. Wow. I don't understand why the QAnon community wasn't more successful, considering their open-hearted approach to communications and their beliefs in the equality and goodness of their fellow human beings. Jesus Christ. Ouch.
Shit, Lara Logan. All you can talk about is the rape at the border. You can't talk about the real pandemic of child trafficking. None of you can. And it's in my E3TT transmissions.
Your E3T in your tea tree oil transmissions? Well, that's probably why no one's listening, because they sting.
Fuck you. I'm telling you, Q, the minute I see you, I'm going to punch you in the temple so goddamn hard, it's going to knock you out.
Okay, you may be a Golden Gloves boxer, ma'am, but I'm going to tell you that if you're trying to knock someone out, you want to go for right here on the button or right below the ear on the jaw. That's what you want, because the shaking of the jaw and the pressure on those points is what creates a quick knockout. If you punch someone in the temple, you've got the cheek ridge right here, and one of the hardest formations on the frontal part of the skull right here. It's just really hard. Like the temple, quite frankly, is indented because it's supposed to protect from that kind of an impact. I mean, if you stick one knuckle out, you might have something. I'm trying to help out. Now, the other problem you're going to run into is, of course, that Q is a fabricated identity that doesn't actually exist, and it's very hard to punch out a cartoon character. But good luck. You fucking goofball.
It didn't have to be this way. It never had to be this way. During the sinking of Atlantis, the Archons took over, and that's how long...
Hang out. During the what and the who took over the how? Excuse me. You cannot just jerk the wheel into Ancient Aliens like that. It's rude.
It's taken you to get back here and do anything at all. And even though you've gotten back here and you've sucked everybody into all of this for this long, nothing has happened. No arrests, nothing. We've got yet another election stolen. No! No, Q! No!
Well, that no means no. Until next week, when she'll be back in the forums because she doesn't have any real friends and she's driven everyone away with this blather for the last couple of years and is unrepentantly loony about all this.
No matter what happens from here on in, I'm not coming back.
Yeah. This could have been us, but you'd be fucking around.
You blew it.
You did. You blew it, Q. You almost had your dream girl. And while she's still a virgin, I don't know, whatever the fuck, this is so stupid.
Next year will be 7 years of doing disclosure for you. Fuck you!
Ooh.
And fuck all you orbs!
Yeah, orbs. Grr. Also, animal dander. Oh, I hear you, lady. I have a roller here specifically because of pet stuff. It's an issue.
Get the fuck out of my house! I seriously...
They're not in... Oh, you mean the orbs. Maybe... Seriously, I know this is awful, but it would be kind of funny if someone just came up behind her and put a bag over her head. Just kind of like... I don't wish that on anyone, but I just think as a sketch idea, as a sort of a kids in the hall ending, I'm just saying, it's got legs.
I mean, get out!
There's a part 2. I don't know if you know this. There's a part 2. She wasn't done. She said she was done. She wasn't done. There was more to it, and a lot of us were like, "Why does it have to end so quickly? Why can't there?" I have so many unanswered questions from season 1. Why can't there be a sequel to let us all know what the shit? By the way, she never even hung her fucking Christmas lights. She just threw them on the floor like a psycho. Get out of here, orbs. Oh, those are Christmas lights. I'm just lazy. Oh, hold on. This is the... Yeah.
Fuck all of you. You're losers. In fact,
Wow, that's not a good opening salvo. Or maybe this was like last week on QAnon Quitter. We're doing like it's kind of like Only Murders in the Building where they recap last episode.
I want to tell you one last thing before I go.
Yeah, I mean, we got it. We got it. I don't know if Q got it. I mean, he's pretty fucking dense. So, yeah, good. Go ahead. Yeah, you know what? She's leaving. It's about time she got it all off her chest. She's been supporting Q for 7 years.
Oh, I have something on my back. It looks like skin cancer. I honestly am praying to God I have cancer and that I...
What? No, you're not. Shut the fuck... What? Oh, my God. I have... Who told you it's there? The orbs?
I'm going to die, and I'm not just saying that. I will do anything to get out of here. Anything. You guys aren't worth saving. You're not worth saving. None of you can wake up. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Look at all the orbs. Fuck you. You're not getting me back. I told you, Q, I told you that this had to...
I just want you to know, he's not listening. He's not. He missed this. He's not going to see this for weeks, if at all. So there's the sense of urgency, I think, is a little bit overdone.
Happened this December, and you didn't do it. So you lost me. Okay, you're not in charge, Q. I am. I'm doing disclosure. I'm just as much part of this plan as you are. Okay.
So not at all? Okay.
Okay, so fuck off.
It's your computer's open. You do realize no one... Maybe you don't. Maybe this is an issue that happens a lot on Facebook communities, I think, as well. You do realize that when you open your computer or your phone or the app that you use in social media, a crowd doesn't gather to hear what you have to say normally. I mean, I'm amazed that when I live stream that happens, and that's built for that way. It's certainly, I don't think that, like, magically, when I open Twitter to post something, a bunch of people go, oh, words are about to come. Everybody, get over here. He's sort of, nope, he didn't tweet. Never mind. Like, that's not how it works, dum-dum.
That's it. See you later. I'm not doing anything more for this, and I'm taking down my ET transmissions. You guys can just live in your stupidity forever. Nothing's going to change. It's not as if...
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to follow you here. That everything that Q predicted and you predicted, none of it has actually happened, and none of it actually turned out to be true, and it's all turned out to be bullshit and a waste of your time, and you drove away friends and relatives chasing this horse shit for years, and it just turned out to be fart air in your, like, it's like you're trying to run around catching farts in a butterfly net and you were unable to do so. And that, can I interest you in a job on Flashpoint? I think they're hiring.
Anything. Why should you know about the Galactics? Why should you know the truth? You don't care. You don't want it. You know.
That's true. I don't even think I deserve to know about the Galactics at this point. Shit, I was very confused as to why, Thanos, with all of his powers, even gave a shit at one point. If you have the ability to parallel yourself into a dimension with something like the Infinity Stones, why not just move yourself someplace else? You know what I mean? If you could literally parallel yourself into another dimension with fucking no one in it except all the animals and plants and livable planets, I guess. So why not do that instead of killing half the people? But, this is the problem I run into with movies like Limitless. At a certain point, there seems to be limits. And it seems to be the intellectual capacity of the people in charge. I'm just saying that one of the reasons why the QAnon theories, philosophies, predictions, ideology around it is so ridiculous is because the people creating it and building off of it and creating their little cul-de-sacs are fucking stupid. They're stupid. You have stupid people creating a stupid system around a stupid conspiracy. That's just stupid. It's not going to go. It's a glass ceiling created by your own lack of intellect, lady.
I don't even want it. And Q doesn't want to give it to you.
No. And if he doesn't want to give it to you, you're not going to take it. Yeah, so they lost another good one. But hey, they're not all gone. Can I show you something real quick? This is a Telegram channel, a QAnon one, that just randomly says things like this. It never happened, but I guess by warning you, they stopped it. So that's always great. My favorite thing is when they go, we're predicting something, and since we said what our prediction was, that scared the people who were gonna do it off, so they couldn't do it. Man, is that an amazing way to make sure your predictions are you're always right. If you randomly, accidentally guess that something's going to happen, you're right. And if you say something and it doesn't happen, it's because your fucking magic predictions scared the people who were going to pull it off away from doing it, and you were right. You're always right. Zelensky will be meeting with CIA officials tomorrow. False flag planning. By the way, you don't need a false flag when a war is already happening, you fucking dummy. It's silly. I mean, the Russians tried that, I suppose, with the pipeline. But, all right, now, these people have all these movies. Now, this is interesting. This interested me. This is over something on, hold on. The Epic TV, which is, for the record, not on TV and short of being epic. Epoch, all the time. This is a video that they have posted on there that one of the QAnon channels decides to put up. This is a fucking fascinating take on. I've been showing you guys over the last little bit that they decided to just drop zero COVID altogether. Their vaccinations don't work. It only worked on the wild type, the 2 initial strains. Doesn't work on anything else. They refuse to buy any of the pharmaceuticals that treat it, that have worked outside of China. They just fucking get all off, and people are dying in droves. And the natural response would be to look at the people, who during the beginning of COVID said, why don't we just let it run wild? And go, holy shit, those people were fucking stupid, because if we'd have done that, you'd have these kind of deaths. But instead, their take is, it seems curious. Something sinister, this is titled, Something Sinister is Happening in China.
Chinese people allegedly have gotten COVID in the last 20
by
days.
The way,
reports are saying people are dying on the streets, morgues.
Hold on one second. Hold on, this is, one second, hold on. By the way, hold on, that triggered my other video. Okay, hold on.
Over 250 million Chinese people allegedly have gotten COVID in the last 20 days.
By the way, allegedly, which is alleged by who? Certainly not alleged by the Chinese government. So it's the Western media that's alleging that they have COVID. So the Chinese government is telling the truth in this situation. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Reports are saying people are dying on the streets, morgues are full,
By the way, reports have always said that people are dying in the streets in China. There were videos the entire run. The cremation centers are full.
Cremation centers are full. They're running out of medicine. It's extremely bizarre. I know a lot of...
Why? Why is it extremely bizarre? I mean, it's sad. It's shocking. It's depressing and wrong. It's not bizarre, though. It's completely fucking predictable.
People have questions on this. They're like, well, are they trying to bamboozle us again? Are they trying to make a big scene so they could spread their lockdown policies again?
To us? No. The vast majority of the Western world is vaccinated at this point, or has boosters they can go to, or other pharmaceuticals that will protect people. And nobody's taking their cues from how the CCP is handling this, especially now. What the fuck?
I don't think that's the case.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's reassuring.
I think this is 100% legitimate. And I also think this could mean the end of the entire China model. This could mean the end of lockdown policies. Not only that, but you have a lot of CCP leaders dying. Top-level Chinese Communist Party leaders. I'll give my take on that. I'll tell you that very likely relates to the organ harvesting, because they're all on anti-rejection drugs.
What? So, so the average Chinese citizen is dying of COVID, but the CCP officials are dying so that they can have their organs harvested. Excuse me? So anyways, I can't, my thing is, I can't believe that the lady who quit COVID or quit QAnon is giving up on this stuff. I mean, come on. Look at that. Yeah. Why isn't that lady, look at this. It's so sad, isn't it? All right, now, we've got, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. I've got plenty of videos to show you today. And we're going to start with, it's hard to even pick where to start. But, yeah, here we go. So, I don't know if you know this, but, with the George Santos thing, George Santos changed his name from DeVolder to DeVolder Santos and then just to Santos. And one of the reasons I personally believe that he was able to skate by without getting a lot of scrutiny is because of the Democrats' deference to the LGBT community and to minorities, especially marginalized minorities. And you're not going to, if someone says they're gay or someone says they're Hispanic and it's a little hinky, Democrats are going to have less of a tendency to jump on that with both feet because it is knee-jerk as a reaction in the Democratic Party and in the left in general to support, enable, and allow people who are in marginalized communities to be fully themselves. That's the primary, like, raison d'etre of the current social mechanism of what it means to be a Democrat. So if somebody, is all in on some sort, you could argue that it's why there was some deference to Elizabeth Warren's conversation about being native or something. But that's I think that's the primary reason why nobody, even people who would normally dig into this, would go, but you were married to a woman, because we don't give a shit. If Lindsey Graham, I'm just picking his name out of a hat, I'm not saying anything in particular, came out tomorrow as gay, for example, the Republican Party would flip the fuck out and reject him, and some people would keep their claims on him because they would use him as an example of, just like they did with the Santos, that they're supportive or whatever, while slowly driving him out of the party. But a vast majority of the voters that he had counted on for years would go, wait a minute, what? They'd have the Liberace fan or the Clay Aiken fan reaction. Remember the weird ladies that sued Clay Aiken for being gay because they felt lied to because supposedly he was asexual. They liked him as an asexual or something. It was so fucking bizarre. Like, go away. But that, on our side of the aisle, the reference is, I don't care if you were straight yesterday and you felt like you had to be because of the environment you were in for your own safety, or you just weren't sure, knock yourself the fuck out. If you, today you're gay and that's how you're going to live from now on, good for you. Who cares? Shit, even if it's in a situation where somebody's like, I'm gay, and then 3 months later, you know what? I tried it. I'm not gay. So what? None of my fucking business. Don't care. Especially if you're being upfront about it. So Democrats in general, the fact that he'd been married to a woman and all this other stuff, and that it, like a bunch of other elements of his story, didn't actually turn out to be true. Or was, debatably true in different variations, as he likes to put it. The reaction from Democrats wasn't to wait a minute, hold on a fucking second, gay Latino guy. I don't believe it. It's not natural to that fight. That's one of the ways you're going to slip past the censors, slip past the fact checkers, slip past the, security at the door, whatever level you're talking about. Is because, quite frankly, on my side of the political aisle, excuse me, on my side of the political aisle, you do you. I don't give a shit. But when it pertains to a series of other lies that you were hiding behind, or there were other lies that nobody looked at because the primary identifiers that you were using are something that, especially your opponents in a political race view as a protected class, they're just not going to look. They're not going to look past that. I think that's really what happened. Republicans were happy to have him as a token member of the community and pat themselves on the back for him being Hispanic, Jewish, gay, whatever. He was checking all kinds of boxes, and then the minute, by the way, they need to distance themselves from him, it's like, we get all this cover. We talked about this yesterday when we did the video of him on with Tulsi Gabbard. Now, but he did, one of the big factors about him was he changed his name. He slowly but surely changed his name and became George Santos as he ran for office, and he was DeVolder Santos, and before that he was George DeVolder for a long time. Another guy that changed his name is a guy named Michael Savage. Now, Michael Savage, if I may, that's this guy. Michael Savage, who's been was a right-wing radio host for a long time, and then I think just lost his spot and ended up, doing what I do, just streaming. Michael Savage, you'll be shocked to know, is not his real name. Michael Savage's real name is Michael Weiner. I don't know why he would change his name. I don't know what would bring a person in that situation. Maybe it was because he was just embarrassed by Anthony Weiner, except he did that before the Anthony Weiner thing. Never mind. Time is an illusion. Who even knows? But Michael Savage changed his name, to Savage. And I have to say that if I were in the same situation with the same name, I would do the same thing. But I would just change my first name to Savage. I'm just saying. Because I think Savage Weiner would be a fantastic radio name. I'm just saying. And I might have to, after the show, look up and see whether SavageWeiner.com is available. It probably isn't. Thank you, Deception. Yeah, ba-doom-ts. Yeah. Savage. Yeah. So, anyways, this is just to clarify. Michael Savage, Captain Weiner here, delivers a prayer apparently in this one, judging from his hand position, and the title of this, which is "May God Save Us from the Biden Gang," from the Michael Weiner podcast, Piddlecast. Here we go.
God, if you're listening to me tonight, I'm going to...
He's probably not. I mean, it's not. Don't take it personally. There's a lot of voices out there, and he's learned to ignore you a long time ago.
make a prayer to you, whether you be Jesus, Muhammad, whoever your prophet is, Jesus or Muhammad.
So you're talking to people, not actually praying. You're just co-opting the idea of prayer. Gotcha. So it's not a real prayer. Good. So I can talk over it because I have a tendency, if anybody prays, whether I am, I believe to some degree their honesty about it on an interpersonal level, I tend to avoid stopping anyone's prayer if they're genuine in their prayer.
Abraham, the father of the three major religions, whether you are Buddhist, whether you're Hindu.
Who are you talking to? Your camera's over here. Is there just a stranger sitting in your office / living / a ward room?
Whether you're just the great spirit that the Native Americans
yes, I am. What?
pray to. God, listen to me.
Is he sitting right there? Can you see him like the lady with the orbs?
If you can hear one man's prayer wherever you are, and I don't think you're up there, I think you're down here and in here.
Oh, okay. So at least there's no ego involved.
God, wherever you are, we need...
Well, technically speaking, if it is God, it would be everywhere and nowhere, because location doesn't mean anything when you are in and of all things and know things. I don't want to nitpick, but if you're beyond time and space, you are in and of neither.
Need you in America. I pray you can save us from the vermin who have stolen this country from us.
Well, you're going to have to make your case that vermin did steal the case from you, steal the country from you. So go ahead.
When the hell are you going to show your face, God?
Well, I mean, if you're going to talk like that, then never. Fuck you. I'm paraphrasing what I think God might say in reaction to this, and I'm going to guess this isn't the first time you've talked to God like this, so I can see why your prayers continue to go unanswered.
It's not enough to send us candy canes.
Is that how you think Christmas works? What?
Where are you now that we need
All right, now you're just talking to Santa now. You're talking, and you're late.
you? Dear God in heaven, where have you gone?
Well, again, it doesn't go, maybe in heaven. I don't know. If it's God in heaven, then that's probably where they are. I'm just going to...
Where have you gone? Why have you abandoned this great nation to this gang?
Yeah, it basically is like, this is Michael Savage's moment, Michael Weiner's moment on the cross. My God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Gang of thieves and criminals who have not only taken away our money, but are taking away our national pride. And once...
How do they do that? So your national pride only works when your side is winning and you think you're on the up side of the coin? Is that how it works? Isn't pride something you have even in the face of adversity and difference? Why is your fucking... That's the question. Why is your national pride in America so fucking flimsy, Captain Weiner?
a nation's pride is gone, as I have written, it can never be restored.
Why? If a nation's pride is gone and it can never be restored, then it's over, shut the fuck up, pack your shit, dude. There's the fucking door. Beat feet. Go down to Portugal or wherever the fuck the redacted assholes are. If you can't reclaim it and it's gone, then what are we even talking about?
God bless America.
Well, it's too late, stupid, according to you. And you're talking to God. So what, are you going to ignore him now that he's sitting there?
And may God save us from Joe Biden and his gang.
That's it. That's the entire prayer. I don't know why it wasn't effective. I honestly don't. He put so much effort into it and so much deep thought. And yet at the same time, it was, well, now that I think of it, maybe it was successful. Because the Lord works in mysterious ways. So maybe he answered Michael Weiner's wishes, but in a way that Michael Weiner is just not emotionally, intellectually, philosophically, ethically, and psychosexually able to deal with. Maybe, just maybe, he's getting what he wants, the dream of a better America. He just doesn't know what the fuck that is because he's been a follower of people like Donald Trump his whole life. Maybe the world isn't upside down. Maybe he's standing on his head. And, you know, if he doesn't realize that, it's not God's problem. Now, obviously, by the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yesterday was a long work day. Whew. And we covered a lot of stuff. But there's a few areas that we didn't cover. One, of course, is one of the things that is upsetting the Michael Weiners of the world is that Newsweek wrote an article about Joe Biden saying, wow, what a year. Infrastructure bill, the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, like all these things that were happening are crucial. Stiff-arming China, holding back Russia, blah, 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 like getting NATO together. He's been a very effective, largely under the radar president while he's had some big wins. Beyond that, there have been a lot of like huge wins that have just kind of, people don't even recognize the difference it's going to make. I mean, you just take removing lead pipes and rural broadband, that you're changing the direction of the health and well-being of the citizenry of this country for the better for decades to come. And again, this is one of those situations where Biden's going to show himself over time to be one of the most consequential presidents we've ever had. And it's driving them fucking nuts. And speaking of nuts, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Fox and Friends. Now, Fox and Fiends has, I don't know which batch of Fox and Fiends this is, because they seem to have a rotating thing. It's usually two males of questionable testicular fortitude sitting on either side of a woman in a short skirt who is this close to basic instincting everyone, and the only thing stopping it is a potted plant. And that's part of the sales pitch, I suppose. But apparently, this is, obviously, Newsweek has written this article, and they have to push back.
Grows the economy. I know. $1.9 trillion right here so far. I don't want to hear any more about you don't like looking at him. He knows.
Yeah, that's one of his jokey ways of talking.
We all know he couldn't have done it without you.
He's so creepy. His whispered statements may have raised eyebrows, but leave it to the media headlines declaring it all part.
The media headlines. It's fucking Newsweek, which spends a good deal of time selling Jesus and kissing Trump's ass.
Part of the president's brilliant year, they say.
Newsweek.
Right. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies. That's so true, Schmoopy.
He's arguing the past 12 months have been surprisingly good for the commander-in-chief. Inflation is coming down from near record highs, and the price of gas has also fallen, while Biden can point to legislative accomplishments and even some major bipartisan wins,
including gun legislation.
Biden can also celebrate better than expected midterm election results.
All true.
You can't necessarily argue with
the reality of it. By the way, John Joe here, this dude right here, I've known him via Twitter for quite some time, and I met him at the Boots campaign, which provides like military boots for and shoes for poor people and veterans and yada yada. It's a great charity, but I met him there once or whatever. He is a double amputee. Both of his legs are missing below the knee or at the knee. I mean, he lost them in Iraq, I believe, not Afghanistan, Iraq. And I disagree with his politics vehemently. We've had back and forths over time, but there are times when he has posted about his difficulties with his amputations and the blisters he gets from wearing his prosthetics and that kind of stuff, where I have said, thank you for your service, and I'm sorry you have to go through this, and I appreciate it. Even in the context of, I think his beliefs about Trump especially, and his more Foxian beliefs are complete horseshit. I can still give him the space to feel that way and still recognize him as a decent person in other areas. So I'm going to, just full disclosure, the dude gave both of his legs to us, to the United States, sacrificed them, and deals with that every goddamn day. And so I think it's a great opportunity to totally differ with what the fuck he's talking about without disagreeing with him as an existing human being and the meaning in his life. Because again, imagine that shock. Imagine your deep beliefs about your country and all those kind of things, and then you lose your legs, and the people that are conflicting with what your beliefs about the country are now seen through the context of you lost your legs for this. That's part of it. Does that make sense? So just full disclosure as we go forward in this.
Biden being effective at accomplishing some of the policy goals that he and his progressive party set out to accomplish.
Right. And a bunch of other bipartisan bills.
There are two metrics when it comes to grading or weighing a politician, especially the president's effectiveness. One of them is, are they doing what's good for the country? Are we in a good place? Are things good? Are Americans mostly happy? And the other one is, are you accomplishing the agenda you have with your group of folks that is leading the way, that is kind of directing you on the...
And I'm sure you're holding that up against Trump, say, during his final year in office during COVID, when we were all just super happy to be locked down at home?
First one there, I think the polls say no, he's not doing things that Americans are happy with. And
which is did not bear out in the same polls told you there was a red wave coming, and the same polls that tell you that he's not popular are the same polls that you guys believe would cause a red wave. That's not true. So it seems fair to say that perhaps the idea that he's unpopular is exaggerated.
we have polls here to show that. Do you feel the country is headed in the right direction? 26.1% says right, 65.3% says wrong, and with
Right. But is it because you think it should go further in Biden's direction? Or do you think it's because the Supreme Court was handed to Donald Trump and is directing the country for the long term in a direction that you don't agree with? Again, that 65% is not people, those aren't all people who agree equally on why the country is going in a bad direction. As a matter of fact, it largely, whenever they do these things, is split down the middle. The same thing we ran into with the ACA. The Affordable Care Act is very popular right now. It's above water, but it was very much underwater when it first came up. And the reason it was because half the people who hated it didn't want it to exist in any form, and the other half thought it should go all the way to government health care, Medicaid for all. That's not the same thing as saying it is wholly unpopular. And saying it is lying with statistics.
that information, they're saying it was a good year for him.
Well, and I've spent a lot of time working in politics. It all comes down.
By the way, the plant is not in a good position. I'm just saying. Look how locked her knees have to be where she's sitting. Do you know how fucked up that is? What is this angle? Is this how they just hypnotize morning viewers?
To that Ronald Reagan question in 1980. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Well, 4 and change, we're recovering from COVID. So there wasn't COVID before that. Donald Trump is in office, so yeah, on that metric. But obviously, you're not going to go with 3 years ago because we would have been in the middle of Donald Trump fucking the entire COVID response up.
And the answer is no. For Americans, the answer is no. And you can look
Is it though?
at the midterm elections, but that was a unique set of circumstances.
Yeah, you had shitty candidates who were lunatics and failures and liars, and only a couple of them squeaked through.
As with the Dobbs hearing, it motivated young people on the issue of abortion.
Just the Dobbs hearing. Was there a hearing? Is that what it was? You mean the Dobbs ruling?
You're not necessarily going to have that heading into the 2024 election.
Yeah, you are. Because to codify it, you're going to need more Democrats in office. Hi. Hello. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Thank you. I got a tea. Brought a tea. Thanks. Yeah. Love you. How was it? Okay. Okay. Excellent. Be right with you. Just 1 second. I'm just saying hi to my girl, if you don't mind. Well, all right. Piece by piece. Love you. Good FaceTime. Everybody was all right. I still haven't, well, we'll talk about it later. Yeah. Love you. Tea. Mm-hmm. Plain green tea. Good times. All right. Yes, it was a smoochie time. I did a little minor smoochie time. And we move on.
Also, this will be 100% a referendum on Joe Biden, this administration, the failures that they've had. That being said, we are...
Oh, will it now? Do you think by the time Title 42 is actually ended and the number of crossings drops because it will be limited to the number of actual human beings who make it across and are rejected or accepted, and that happens probably spring of next year, and winds the numbers of people crossing the border down to where they were in 2016 numbers or 2015 numbers, and elements of the far left start clamoring about Biden ejecting too many people because he'll go back to a like the standard they used during the Obama years, for example. You think, what do you think Republicans are going to run on? Afghanistan? Pissed that we're still in, that we're not still in?
We're in a new era of politics, right? It's Wild West with the mail-in ballots. Democrats used COVID, a virus, to append the political process. So that's completely changed the game. So,
Lisa,
no, it hasn't. As a matter of fact, it was the rejection of the use of mail-in ballots by Republicans that put them behind the 8 ball and made all their focus on one day. And if you couldn't make it because of weather or timing or travel, which just happens according to people on the right, you lost votes. You didn't allow people to vote in a way that fits their schedule. And that was an active choice on the Republican side. It is absolutely part and parcel as to why they didn't get more wins this time around and why they don't have the Senate. And I'm fine with it. Because you're voting with your feet anyways. If you're saying that's the only time of voting that matters to me, and if I can't make it, I can't make it, that's wholly different than just discouraging people from voting whole cloth. So
you work in a lot of politics and polling.
Yeah.
So Suffolk USA Today's poll has Biden's approval rating, right? 41.8% strongly disapprove, 10.3% somewhat disapprove, 27.3% somewhat approve, 17.5% strongly approve. So while Biden's administration is touting successes, and he's sort of sitting in that middle ground, are things going well for him truly, or are they getting a false sense of security?
well, I think
well, they also know that they just passed some bills, especially the infrastructure bill, where in the spring, more of those projects are going to come online and people are going to be feeling the effects of these things closer to the 2024 election. And see, that's the kind of forward thinking and forward planning that may not, in the middle of things, get you the boost you need, even though he did manage, because of the other stuff that he was doing, looking 2 years out when he first took over, to guarantee these things. And the absolute the effect of eliminating the right to choose for millions of women in the United States definitely had an effect on the midterms. But in terms of the long gain of the administration, of holding the White House specifically, there is a strategy happening from day one that says, look, we're going to do some stuff that isn't going to pay off until it's going to take a couple of years. So we need to do it immediately so that people are feeling it right as we go into the next election. And they are going to. Thank you, Shadow Woman.
I think a lot of it, look, you can't.
For the gift subs. Bless you.
We are so far out from 2024, right? So even using the midterm election to look to 2024 is essentially meaningless. No
Yeah, it's going to be even worse for you guys.
offense to this calmness, but it is irrelevant, right? We have to look at the set of circumstances heading into the 2024 election. And look, the Fed's raised interest rates quite a bit. That tends to take about a year to play out. So I don't think the economy is going to look any better heading into the 2024.
By the way, she thinks that the Fed's raising interest rates is going to lower inflation, and that's going to take about a year to lower inflation. That's December of 2023, stupid. That's exactly going into the next. And that's where the economic impact, where they can, if they've even overcorrected, they can maybe in the spring or summer, God forbid for you guys, for the election, dial back, maybe cut a quarter point, 25 basis points. And that would give fuel into the Dow and other things that tend to like those kind of things going into the election. These fuckers are so stupid.
Election, so he's going to have to answer to that.
Answer to what? Honestly, she just said something she doesn't even understand. That's just gibberish. It sounds profound. It's completely devoid of meaning.
And so it also depends on who Republicans run, what kind of, what sort of message that they're running on as well.
You think? So it will... Shit. It'll depend on who Republicans run in 2024 and what their message is. Why would their message be in question? If he's so terrible and everything's going so poorly and the American people are so dissatisfied with what he's doing, then why couldn't you just establish what the fuck you're going to say now and run on it for the next 2 years? Why would you even have to change what you're talking about? If the circumstances aren't going to change, right? Or, I suppose, you could run on conservative ideals or some sort of ethical standard, but that's fucking ridiculous because you don't have any.
Because I think people need to hear how this person for Republicans is going to positively impact their life after.
Really? So the what she's telling us on Fox and Friends is that it's important that Republicans run on something instead of just against Biden?
Seeing their life negatively impacted by Joe Biden, but no one should ever be underestimated at all.
Yeah, I think.
Right. Never underestimate Joe Biden while we sit here and underestimate him, and as a matter of fact, actively do so.
People need to understand when they're summarizing a year. This is a 4-year term. Gas prices are going to creep one way or the other, and I hope they get really good. And I'll give him credit if he takes action to get them there. But I'm not.
He already has taken action to get him there. Stupid. Even before it plays out. That's the whole point. That's the issue at hand. Also, do you think these dickheads, one of them has to be thinking, he sold oil from the strategic reserve at somewhere between $96 and $120 a barrel, and he's buying it back at $72 to $76 a barrel. Making money and lowering the deficit in the process. As a businessman, if Joe Biden was a Republican businessman and he did that very thing with private holdings in oil and gas, these fuckers would be, they'd be trying to like force him to run for president. There would be a draft Joe Biden as a Republican presidential candidate.
I'm not going to forget who put them where they were. I'm not going to forget if I own a landscaping business and I put gasoline.
Oh, you mean like Four Seasons Total Landscaping? That one? I'm just spitballing.
In every tool I use to do my business,
Then why aren't you using some rechargeable ones and saving yourself some money? I mean, in California, I don't even think you use gas leaf blowers anymore, stupid.
I lost that business over the summer because I couldn't afford to run those tools. I'm not ever going to forget that.
Are you going to forget that we just came out of COVID? Were you not going to, were you in 2014? Were you not, I guess you're not going to blame Republicans who had created policies that led up to that? No. Or I suppose, don't be mad at OPEC. Don't be mad at Russia. Don't be mad at the world of like under the table oil transfers. Better to be angry in your own country at your own leader for stuff that he only marginally has control of as quickly as possible.
When he gets ready to run again, I know he's the guy that could put me back there again. And so I think.
But he might be the guy that got you out of it because the rest of the world put you there. We did have COVID. You do remember that, right? We're just going to pretend that didn't exist. Is that how the Republicans are going to legislate from now on? I mean, obviously they're going to do it with pandemic response. They're never going to prepare for a pandemic ever again because their own followers think that means they're planning to carry out a pandemic.
People need to understand, I will always applaud a leader of our country for doing the right thing or doing something that helps us.
That's not true. It isn't. Joey, it's a lie. You're lying, dude. And this is coming from a guy who's congratulated and appreciated you at different times for different things when he's gotten like jobs and other stuff, and wished him well during like just tragedies he's had to go through. That's a lie. He's lying. There's no point. I don't think I've ever seen his Twitter feed where he's like, I think it's smart that he sells some oil out of the strategic reserve right now to help Americans in this particular situation, so it lowers the cost of oil. Because there's very little thing. There are very few things that a president can do, and that's one of them. Did he congratulate him? No. Is he going to congratulate him for buying it back at cheaper than he sold it? No. Would he do it if it was a businessman? Abso-fucking-lutely.
But when the posture of all your policies seems to appease
all your policies?
one subset of Americans that has...
Or, and by the way, I don't know why he's insisting that Republicans would like us all to drink out of rotten old lead pipes, or why he thinks that only Republicans, that all Republicans are against rural broadband or fixing roads and bridges and airports. I honest to God, maybe it's a Fox thing. Maybe they only pay attention to laws that passed that are social in nature, and so they can freak out about those things and ignore anything with a material impact, like an infrastructure bill. And of course, fucking off the bipartisanship in a lot of these things. Also, isn't that guy over there making the Illuminati hand gesture that they freaked out about when Obama did it, but when Trump does it, it's okay?
As one group of ideals like climate change or what we call woke culture, I think a lot of Americans are going to look at that and say, we want something different. So
what's woke about an infrastructure bill? What's woke about the CHIPS Act? Let's start there. Joey, what's woke about the CHIPS Act? Explain that to me. Anybody on this fucking panel. The CHIPS Act by itself, singularly the biggest pushback on Chinese hegemony in technology and economics that any president has done probably since the opening of China. What the single biggest pushback? Explain to me how that qualifies as woke.
He has 2 years to figure it out. Republicans, please get...
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to ask, but it's not going to happen.
Yourself together and...
Yeah, that ship has sailed too.
Learn how to go out and find your voters, get them registered, and win these elections.
Yeah, they know how to do it. They just refuse to, because that entails vote by mail and voting early. And this idiot in the middle just told them that that's a terrible idea, and it's how Democrats steal elections again. You do realize that your front runner for next time is going to scream about mail-in voting and not trusting it and try to shut it down the entire time. And you're going to have a presidential election. If Trump is the guy, and he's not going to be, but if Trump is the guy, he's literally going to keep a large swath of Republicans from voting in 2024 by telling them, not to do it early. And it's going to have the same impact that it had on the Georgia Senate races, 2.5 years ago.
Georgia should have been a Republican wave.
I'm Steve Deuce.
Georgia, wait, say that again, what?
Get them registered and win these elections. Georgia should have been a Republican wave.
None of them are going to be Republican waves, dum-dum, because your leaders specifically have told people not to trust voting over and fucking over again. Magoo! And it's not going to stop. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's in Georgia, and Kari Lake and Donald Trump, who are affecting the national politics of the Republican Party in a really bizarre way and have fuck all to show for it, are going to drive a huge swath of voters away from the voting booth. Republicans. And again, I want Republicans to vote because I want them to believe in that arena as a way to deal with their political wants and needs, and feel like if they at least had their say. If they lose out, at least they lost fair and square. But when people stop voting, that's when they start picking up guns. And that's what Trump and Kari Lake and their ilk are increasingly causing. Now, do I believe it'll be a civil war and a large group of people? Fuck no. No. But you don't even need that. It's the lone wolves we have to worry about. And that's all they're going to do. Magoo! Seriously, the Republicans are going to just foment lone wolf, like loner psychopaths into shooting up random malls and post offices and federal buildings and shit like that until there's a groundswell of Republicans pushing back and saying enough is enough, and they just go, we need to throw Trump in jail as a lesson to these other motherfuckers that nobody's untouchable if you're going to foment violence, because it's going to destroy their party in the process. Because it's not going to wreck Democratic voting prospects. It isn't. The interesting thing is the forward party, or any third party bullshit that goes on from this point forward, is going to damage the Republicans more than anything else. Because you got the QAnon lady that we saw earlier in the show who, has quit QAnon. She's not going to vote. I'm not even sure she did in the first fucking place because Trump wasn't running. So she only voted in 16 and 20, but she's not going to vote again. She's not going to vote in the primaries even because she's going to think it's rigged. And when Trump runs, she's not going to run. She's not going to vote for the same reason that she may have, we can't even know. But if she may not have even voted in 2020 thinking it was already going to be stolen. So why go stand in line on the one day Trump tells you to vote if it's not going to work anyways? The Republicans are single-handedly gutting their get out the vote system, and to the detriment of us all. It endangers people's lives because if you don't feel like you can be heard, that's when shit gets drastic. And that's my only, my primary concern, not my only, but my primary concern about this kind of shit. Is that when people feel like they don't have another option, that's when you start hearing these dickheads clamoring about Second Amendment solutions and stuff. Again, it's not going to come in a number that's going to change the direction of the fucking country. It isn't. I got news for you. It's a failed attempt no matter who starts it and when. They're never going to kick this off. And they've been trying forever. Little pockets of militia groups and KKK crowds and fucking Timothy McVeigh and Charles Manson. All these fuckers over time have been thinking, today's the day. It's not. It's not. The number of people you would have to convince to get on board with something like that to make it actually successful are never going to buy in this situation. They're just not. And so it will always be these dust up, horrifying, minor terrorist attacks that kill innocent people, destroy property, and waste everyone's fucking time, start a news cycle where everybody clamors about it for months and months, and then it dies out and people are watching sports again. Except for the people who lost their families because some dickhead decided that shooting people was more important than voting. It's fucking not going to, but again, it is not going to happen. There is not going to be a civil war. There's not going to be, an uprising of any measure. No matter how, dickheads like this wish it would happen so they can just, like his dad, take credit for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Junior. Junior's in a hotel room. What are we going to go? Best Western? Maybe a Holiday Inn in some random place where he's shooting elk or some shit. It's weird though. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the window. That's the blackout curtain. What the fuck is with the glass? Did he put something over it? It's odd. Or is this one of those rooms where it's cheap because it faces the inside of the building? So you can open it, but there's no view, so they paper over it, I suppose. Because he's a billionaire and he can afford the sweet spot. This airline disaster is what happens when wokeness rules. Now, they'll do anything to attack this idea of woke because they think this is a winning thing for them. Honest to God, what the fuck does wokeness have to do with a giant snowstorm affecting Southwest flights more than others? Does anybody? All right, I don't know. We'll see. Does Junior now have a neck tattoo? No, I don't think so. I think that's just the shadow.
Well, guys, no surprise here, but state officials apparently warned Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg of this sort of pending
He's going to read his own tweet.
airline disaster. And I don't know about you, but I'm traveling this Christmas.
Okay, oh, sorry. Levernews.com. Hold on. Let's take a look. Apparently they warned him. He was warned. Levernews.com. State officials. That should do it. Should find the article. Sorry. Finding it. Hold on. Lever News. State officials warned Buttigieg about airline mess. Here you go. This is the article from The Lever. Well, David Sirota and Andrew Perez wrote this. Okay. Before the holiday nightmare, attorneys general begged the transportation secretary and Congress to crack down on what? Southwest Airlines stranding thousands of Americans during the holiday season is not some unexpected crisis, nor the normal consequences of inclement weather, and federal officials are not powerless bystanders. Before the debacle, attorneys general from both parties were sounding alarms about regulators' lax oversight of the airline industry, imploring them and congressional lawmakers to crack down. But it's got to be Pete Buttigieg's fault entirely because he's gay and used to be a mayor. The warnings came just before Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg appeared on national television insisting travel would improve by the holidays, and before Southwest executives, flush with cash from a government bailout, announced new dividend payouts to shareholders while paying themselves millions of dollars. 4 months before Southwest mass cancellation flights, 38 states' attorney general wrote to congressional leaders declaring that Buttigieg's agency, quote, failed to respond and provide appropriate recourse to thousands of consumer complaints about airlines' customer service. Okay, hold on one second. Specific, and by the way, something in the order of, I want to say, the impact of Southwest was had a 70% cancellation rate or some ridiculous number. Everybody else, the rest of the industry had somewhere between 9 and 13. So and all the other airlines got bailouts as well. So the idea that somehow this one airline failing a bunch of flyers, which, by the way, handles a lot of low-cost flights, but somehow the fact that Spirit and United and Delta and any of the other major players, or even some of the minor players, managed to deal with the inclement weather fairly well within the limits of where planes were stranded, where their crews were stranded, and the like. That we ignore. This is apparently Pete Buttigieg is on the Southwest beat, and that's all there is to it. Dear Leader Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, Leader McConnell, and Leader McCarthy, this is the National Association of Attorneys General. As our state's chief consumer protection enforcers, we receive consumer complaints and work hard to hold accountable irresponsible actors who treat consumers deceptively or unfairly. Over the course of the COVID-19 epidemic, certain corporate actors have systematically failed to live up to their responsibilities to their customers and have caused significant frustrations and unnecessary challenges for those customers. In particular, the airline industry has failed their customers. Okay, first of all, remember the empty flights? Remember nobody was going anywhere? The airlines themselves got bailed out because of the lack of flying that was going on. So the complaint was that during COVID, hold on. Beg your pardon. During COVID, we're supposed to, over the past couple of years, our offices have received thousands of complaints from outraged airline passengers about airline customer service, including about systematic failures to provide required credits to those who lost travel opportunities because everybody did during the pandemic. Okay, first of all, fuck off. Of course you have. And secondarily, it was a fucking pandemic that, by the way, started and had all its primary shutdown-based failures during the last administration. Remember how the Trump administration was going to be vaccinating people in Walmart parking lots out of the back of army trucks? Remember that shit? That we, by the way, now know there was no plan for? None. And by the way, if there was a plan for it, whereas Democrats and other people would have gone, oh good, there's a vaccine available, might have taken advantage of it, especially in rural communities. You think Republicans and all the QAnon crowd would have lined up behind an army truck in a fucking Walmart parking lot to get vaccinated, get a needle stuck in their arm The people who believe in Jade Helm and an Agenda 21 and Bill Gates's depopulation scheme, those motherfuckers are going to stand in a Walmart parking lot and get a shot in their arm. Get out of here. And again, not that was ever planned out. It was just something they yammered about. Remember, it was also going to be like CVS's. Remember, you just roll up and you could fucking stick your arm out the window and they would just, and then you could drive away. Again, would any of these assholes actually take advantage of or use that to get vaccinated? Of course not. And the Biden administration, when they came in, had to basically start from scratch because one thing the Trump administration never did was its fucking homework. Dude couldn't even delegate well. This is the problem with, I think, essentially having a family-run business style businessman in the White House versus even, if you're going to go the businessman route, somebody who was a CEO of a publicly traded company that had to answer to a board and answer to investors. There's sort of a one-to-one experience as a CEO in that circumstance because you can be ousted by the investors through the board of directors. They can have a vote of no confidence and the board has to boot you. That is the closest thing to sort of democratic leadership especially in corporate America that exists. There's none of that in a family-run business like the Trumps. That's a generational, that is much closer, quite frankly, to a monarchy. The Trump organization is effectively run like a monarchy. Dad gave it to the son was going to give it to another one of his kids, more than likely Don Jr. or Ivanka in this particular case, but that was the structure. And that's what he's used to. And it's also how he's used to making fucking decisions. So, but here we go. Airline mess, racist highways. I don't know what the fuck.
Christmas vacation, and I'm seeing the people stranded all over the country. And again,
yes, because you have internet. Like you give a shit.
It's no surprise.
Please tell me he got stranded on a flight and he's in a hotel on the voucher as the son of an alleged billionaire. I mean, it's one thing to be like, the key to being a millionaire is to be a complete fucking cheapskate. The other thing is like, really? That's what life's going to be like if you're a billionaire? Weird.
That he was warned and that he wasn't able to do anything about it.
By the way, that he was warned about the stoppages that happened during the fucking pandemic. Not that happened when there was a giant snowstorm dumping snow all across the fucking country.
That's what happens, folks.
No, that's not what happens. By the way, they think this is woke because Pete Buttigieg is gay. Can I remind you who Donald Trump chose as his transportation secretary? The wife of Mitch McConnell.
When you hire people purely because they check off some sort of woke box, right?
Right, so that's the idea, is that Pete Buttigieg has the job because he's a gay man, not because he's articulate and smart and showed himself to be resilient and valuable during the election process. By the way, what box did Elaine Chao... I mean, obviously her family owns shipping lines. Is that the idea? Even though her family's runs transportation company was involved in cocaine trafficking, which is where Mitch McConnell got the name Cocaine Mitch. Never mind.
It's like the press secretary. Well, she's the first African-American lesbian person born in a foreign country to serve as press secretary. It's like, oh my God, you checked 3 boxes. This is wonderful. What could possibly go wrong?
She's doing fine. By the way, I don't know, and neither does he, and neither do you, how many redheads have been the press secretary. I don't think anybody's keeping track.
Competence be damned.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, competence in this particular circumstance is in the response to what happens versus the primary causation of it. The idea is that the reason Southwest was fucked up and the other airlines weren't is because Pete Buttigieg is gay and doesn't know what he's doing.
Mayor Pete, obviously.
Look at him scrolling past the stuff. He doesn't have his normal Post-its, so he's got his script on the screen, which is closer to a teleprompter. Credit where credit is due, I suppose.
He's a gay guy. He was the...
He's a gay guy. That's how I talk about him. Isn't that how you talk about him too? You know, the gay guy. Sure.
Mayor of a small town in Indiana.
Right, you know, a flyover state, and fuck small town Indiana, right? I mean,
His constituency, and we've all seen the videos, had no idea who he was, and it wasn't exactly a success story. But he can run for president. Guys, this shouldn't surprise us, remember?
What are you talking about? Your dad's losing his business license in the very city he claimed to basically own.
Racist highways. They weren't tall enough for people to fit under it because they were built with racism or whatever the hell they were talking.
Oh, yeah. A way to keep it straight. The idea that some highways were built and split communities, basically, and kept them separated because there weren't enough bridges across them. There were no walkways, particularly that they did it on purpose. Look at the south side of LA and the like. Those were specifically done that way. And the land that they took was from the poorer communities, and compensation was lower because of it, as if someone's home is worth less just because it can't sell for more.
Talking about before, that's what this transportation...
And by the way, one of the things they're mad about is the Biden administration fixing that.
Secretary gets you. When you get a job because of only woke qualifications rather than actual qualifications...
Are you talking about the Southwest CEO, or...
When that's all you have in your arsenal, maybe, just maybe, folks, things won't function smoothly. So
it won't... You're right. It probably won't function smoothly.
If you're stuck...
What was that again? Hold on. Function... What was that?
Than actual qualifications. When that's all you have in your arsenal, maybe, just maybe, folks, things won't function smoothly. So if...
Yes, they will not. Things could be smoother.
If you're stuck...
It was not a smooth holiday season. Although quite frankly, that sounds like a Dr. Seuss book that is waiting to be written. A very smoothie Christmas.
Or you had a family member stuck, or trapped, or they can't get to where they were going to be with...
Well, stuck is one thing. Trapped is another euphemism for stuck. They're not actually trapped. There no nothing. No one was stepped in a snare in Southwest terminals.
Loved ones, or they can't get back to their jobs. Think woke.
What jobs? Excuse me. Joe Biden is running the country. There are no jobs to get back to. What family? What if they're trying to get back to Portland? There is no Portland.
Liberal.
#RIP Portland.
Democrats for pushing people who have no business being in a jobs, right? Again.
No business being in a jobs.
Loved ones, or they can't get back to their jobs. Think woke liberal Democrats for pushing people who have no business being in a jobs, right?
Yes, some people have no business being in a jobs. Maybe it's because they have more than one. You shouldn't do 2 jobs at one job, so double jobsing is bad news.
Again, you saw the racist highways. We've seen...
I've seen the racist highways. There's one of them in, I believe it's in South Carolina, where you have to go through Lynchburg to get to Whitesville. Those highway signs are awkward.
The supply chain crisis, and yet, no.
Wait, hold on, fucko. The supply chain crisis happened during your dad's administration because of COVID. Secondarily, one of the reasons we have, quote unquote, a supply chain crisis is because we're getting the fuck out of China and other places where they make things using slave labor, which would be a good thing if you actually gave a fuck about human beings.
No problem taking paternity leave for months on end. And guess what? Paternity leave, that's fine if you want to do it. I think it's wonderful personally. But maybe, just maybe.
Do you really? You think it's paternity leave? You think you're fine with it because you're a straight dude and you're like, that should be something available to, but when 2 gay men, never mind.
If you have a job that...
Do you have a job? I think that's the question. Where the fuck are you going?
350 million Americans depend on your success, depend on you showing up, depend on you getting it done. Maybe don't take the job if you know that's coming. Maybe find a replacement.
Yes, that's right. And this doubly applies to women. Women, if you know you're going to have a kid and you're going to take time off to have that kid, maybe don't take a job. You see where this is coming from? Mm-hmm.
And step down, but that's not how the woke mindset works. I'm entitled to the job. I was the mayor of a crappy town in Indiana, and therefore...
Okay, there you go. By the way, if you live in Mayor Pete's town in Indiana, because he was mayor, Junior here thinks your town is shit. But vote MAGA next time.
Or I can do whatever we want.
Is that the voice of everyone in Indiana?
This is the next step to the presidency. I'm a cabinet secretary for no real reason. Okay, that's what the woke.
Really? Well, and again, how did your dad pick people? Because remember hashtag the best people? Remember your dad was going to have the smartest people and then he had to fucking fire everybody? Explain Rex Tillerson to all of us.
Mindset is getting us, folks. So Mayor Pete is to blame. Liberals are to blame. If you, your loved ones, friends, family, whatever, were stuck.
Have to stay in a Holiday Inn using a voucher and you're the son of a billionaire. They're to blame.
And stranded somewhere. The incompetence is because of them. Okay, just like when
don't let the nonsense happen, and it's crazy, and don't let it happen.
The ships were piled up in front of our harbors. They couldn't figure out how to get them in.
The ships were piled up. Were they? That's arguably, I think, worse than having them backed up. They were stacked up. Were they on top of each other? Is that how it worked out? Where's that video? Shit.
Which created a supply chain crisis.
No, it didn't create the supply chain crisis, stupid. The supply chain itself went through areas that were closed because of COVID. Entire factories shut down. You know one of the reasons why we had ships backed up here? It's because America was one of the only countries that had any fucking money.
When millions upon millions or hundreds of millions of Americans depend on you to show up, be qualified.
Are you talking to your dad now? Because I don't think he's listening. Because he's definitely not taking this advice. The worst thing you could do if your people are counting on you and you gotta be golfing all the time.
Show up. Do the job.
Yeah, don't golf all the goddamn time.
Don't just put in woke people to check a box and pretend that all is well, because it's not. And
it's not terrible. Don't just put a late chow in there and just call it a day because you did a favor to Mitch McConnell. No.
It doesn't end well, as we're all seeing right now. But of course, me and maybe 3 other people with guts will actually say it.
Guts? Guts? You're just being a bigoted dickhead. Where's the guts in that? It's a 3-minute, 23-second video. This is the number we've seen before. I wonder if he finishes a sentence. I can't wait. What do you guys think the chances are? I think it's 50-50 that it just ends.
The rest will cover for him, pretend like nothing's happening, and that he's doing a great job. Enough is enough, folks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Oops, sorry. I'm Steve Ducey. That's just done. Hold on. Notice how Rumble is full of... This is the overlap. By the way, please tell me that this motherfucker flew Southwest and had to sleep in a Best Western with a voucher because his dad has cut him off. And the only way we know is his Rumble videos are for Coke money. So what if he just prints one of these and then somebody fills an EBT card for him so that he can use it at the vending machines in the hotel? His father has guts overhanging his belt. Come on. Again, the idea that somehow that we didn't have a problem last year. Pete Buttigieg was transportation secretary last year, right? as things were starting back up, by the way. And obviously the Southwest thing is an outlier to everything else. Let's see. Let's see. News. Here you go. Maybe. Here you go. Let's take a look at this. Why is Southwest Airlines having a bigger meltdown than other American carriers? Now, if Pete Buttigieg is the incompetent gay overlord of our airlines, then why did he only fuck up Southwest and the other ones are doing okay? The budget carrier has canceled more than 3,900 flights and counting as the chaos continues each day. Here you go. For most of last week, Simply Flying covered how flying during the past Christmas season proved chaotic as airlines flew on the edge of their limits amidst historic winter troubles. Historic winter troubles. As the holiday season drifted, the chaos seemed to have primarily calmed down as airlines adjusted themselves to the demand and weather. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for Southwest Airlines. Over the past few days, the low-cost carrier has struggled to keep its fleet flying and transporting passengers to their anticipated destinations. Trouble for Southwest Airlines began to fully occur on Boxing Day, when the budget carrier canceled nearly 3,000 flights, which was approximately 70%, you're welcome, of its total flights nationwide, and accounted for more than 50% of all canceled flights worldwide for that day alone. There's David Cross, MBA, saying, customer service non-existent. Flying planes, nope. Are you even an airline anymore? My 5th flight cancellation for the last 4 days. Help me get home. Expenses for canceled flights piling up. Hotel, food, Uber back and forth to the airport. Need to reimburse. This is Southwest. And the day's flight cancellations were just the tip of the iceberg, along with flight delays, misplaced luggage strewn about the airports, and the ability to rebook most of its stranded passengers. The earlier time passengers can expect to be rebooked. The earlier time? I think they meant earliest. The earliest time passengers can expect to be rebooked is December 31st. But passengers are still skeptical about whether or not they will get their awaited flight out. However, the issues carried on to Tuesday and Wednesday are forecasted only to calm down next week at the earliest. More than 3,900 flights canceled in total, and the number of frustrated, stranded passengers continued to rise. How did Southwest Airlines find itself still caught flying in a storm when other U.S. airlines have other U.S. airlines have relatively flown through? A meltdown waiting to happen. While it's true that holiday troubles relatively began when the winter storm Elliott battered most of the U.S. last week, the harsh storm, see if I can move this up and down without the harsh storm seemed to have unlocked unlocked quite several issues. All right. You need somebody at Simply Flying needs to do some checking. I think they're using ChatGPT. That's what I think. That are currently causing the meltdown to pass in the next few days. Sorry, there we go. Thin ice cracked slightly before Christmas Day when the airline declared a state of operational emergency at Denver on December 21st. Allegedly, the airline was receiving what it deemed was an unusually high number of absences due to Denver ramp agents calling in sick for reported personal absences. Also within the declared emergency was Southwest Airlines threatening to terminate ramp agents who would continue calling in sick. And if they are going to call in sick, a doctor's letter and medical certificate had to be provided immediately as proof or risk of termination. Applications for reported personal absences submitted within 12 hours would also be rejected. The threat of termination angered Denver ramp agents, and approximately 120 eventually walked off the job. As a result, Southwest Airlines operations at Denver International Airport became highly overwhelmed without enough ramp employees. Now, I don't know why, probably because he's gay and a mayor from Indiana. He couldn't see that for some reason Southwest would pick a flight with their fucking Denver ramp agents and that they would all walk off because they were being told that if you tell us you're sick less than 12 hours ahead of time, or personal absence, I think was what they were doing, then you're going to lose your job, and they all walked out of it. Here you go. Guys, this is why Denver canceled so many. They got this letter, and 120 agents walked out. That affected, 120 ramp agents. How many agents are at any given flight when you get on one? 2? Maybe 3? Right? So that's got to be everybody who processes flights in Denver from Southwest. That's got to be all of them, right? And besides a shortage, I ran besides and shortage together and made a new word. It's okay. Of ramp agents, the low-cost carrier wasn't having sufficient flight and cabin crew to operate its flight schedules. It already had a problem. Anyways, the mounting, which is where they got the frustration about if we're going to lose ramp agents, fuck's sake, right? The mounting flight cancellations and delays resulted in several crew members reaching their operating limits, but surely Southwest would have scheduling software to solve such issues. The budget carrier does, except the outdated software is contributing to the problem instead of helping. Instead of adequately reassigning the crews to other flights during the chaos, several employees struggled to even get through crew scheduling services. This left many crew members unable to get reassignments or adjust their schedules accordingly, affecting their operating limit and rest requirements. So let's say you could go on another flight because you had, you've not reached your limit on how much you can fly in a particular day. You had another 6-hour credit and you could have gotten another 4-hour, 2-hour, 3-hour flight in before sleeping again. But for whatever, you were trying to fill out your availability, it wasn't showing up. Or it would take so long to show up that it put you outside your window. And that's why they kept waiting on crew. Now, we're going to find out at some point that Southwest Airlines was more than likely hacked during this time. I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility, and that somebody was actively fucking with their software because it was old and easy to break into. And that will, once we go into the sort of the congressional hearings about this, and there will be, because what are the Republicans going to do? Legislate? Get the fuck out of here. They're going to do a review of what happened, and part of what's going to come up is that they had a DDoS attack on the scheduling software, and somebody fucked with them. That's very reasonable that could have happened, especially around this time. Especially around an this is the kind of stuff the Russians do all the time. This is the kind of stuff that ransomware actors do all the time. And when it comes out, that this will deflate the whole fucking thing. They'll just blow off that aspect of it. Yes, it's a great softball solve. The ultimate snowball effect. Yes, during a horrible winter storm. Yeah, there you go. Casey Murray, president of the Southwest Airlines Pilot Association, expressed his disappointment in the lack of effort from the airline to upgrade its software by commenting, SWAPA, which is a great name for a piece of software that changes your scheduling. SWAPA has provided unlimited data over the past several years to provide solutions, so I want to frame this differently. We all know that Southwest Airlines has buried its head in the sand regarding its operational processes and IT, and even though irrefutable analytics and data have been provided by us again and again, pride in their outdated processes and technology continues to drive the management. So, there you go. That's why. Internal problems at Southwest all ganged up on them at one point, caught and a cascading effect, stacked shit together, starting in Denver, which of course we know at this particular point is where the Illuminati goes below the earth. If you go to the Denver airport and you go down the tunnel next to the big mural, it'll take you into the adrenochrome facilities. All of it operated by the executives at Southwest Airlines. And where is Area 51 in America? It's in the Southwest. Accident? I don't think so. So, needless to say, this fucknut wants to blame the outdated IT and SWAPA software that Southwest has been using and not investing in their buying planes instead of fixing this one particular part because they don't think it's that big a deal until they create a cascading effect by firing all their ramp agents in one fell swoop because it forced them to walk off the job by being dicks. That this asshole thinks that problem, that constant issue that was growing inside Southwest Airlines is because Pete Buttigieg is gay. And I would like to remind you that the reason this dipshit thinks that is because this is the level of shallow thinking that passes for intellect in Trump world. These people are thinking in the shallow end of the pool because they've had successes their entire life without ever having to go any further because Trump's father provided them with billions of dollars. Hi, yes?
Some YouTube show just started blaring on the TV speaker upstairs.
Oh.
Like how is your iPad down here? Is it?
It is, but it's not on. Hi, Murph.
Upstairs and all of a sudden this really loud YouTube channel came over my football game.
Clearly something spooky is happening.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing's running on mine.
Well, it's it's definitely one of your YouTube things, and I can't get it to turn on. It's coming through the bar.
Huh.
And I can't turn the bar off.
If you turn the TV off and back on?
Did.
Yeah?
It was playing when the TV was off.
Weird.
It's okay. Don't worry. I just can't turn it off.
We have ghost
and I just thought since
audio.
that came on by itself earlier.
Right. Hold on.
I don't know where it came from.
That's really weird.
And I can't even turn it off. Like, it's
okay. Well, yeah.
I'll figure something out.
Okay. All right. I've automated our house so much that sometimes it has a mind of its own. I've created a Siri monster. Clearly, it's the orbs. Yeah, I blame the orbs. Meanwhile, what I primarily wanted to address is that you have to take that into account whenever you hear this asshole or his dad talking at any given point, because they have never had to think past rung one of the ladder. There's always been an elevator open to them. They have never had to do any actual climbing, never had to do any actual work. The vast majority of the work and the skill set that the Trumps in particular, and the folks that I think view them as a success, has been in two arenas. One is, morally destitute legal wranglings where you hire lawyers and just learn to lie in depositions, and then I guess it's bullshitting in public. So basically, bullshitting in legal depositions and bullshitting to Forbes and in the news and stuff. It's all been about mask wearing. These people, the Trumps in particular, but a lot of people like them, and I'm sure that the Santoses of the world, which clamor to be likened to the Trumps, view this as a skill set. They actually think that this is a valuable ability to have, but this is effectively when you can bullshit your way past so many, over so many hills, you never develop the ability to climb them or walk them yourself. And so, of course, he's going to look at this issue, and it took us, 12 seconds to find an article that explained the material problem that Southwest ran into, the fact that their pilots and the ramp, attendees in Denver airport all walked off at the same time, starting a cascading effect across all of this, which led to the snowball effect that caused the problem that they are currently in. And by the time the Southwest executives get pulled in front of the fucking Congress, they're going to have invested $5 million in a new IT system, which is a drop in the fucking bucket, but it'll look like they're spending some real money, and they'll have refunded, 500,000 people's flights or given them credits for other flights at some point, and start handing out fucking 2 packets of peanuts to everybody, and they'll be back in good graces by the spring, by spring break in particular, when they will be back fully in business as far as anybody else is concerned. But the crucial part of this entire endeavor is looking at just how little effort it takes to hit bottom on the intellectual capacity of people like Don Jr. Just a magnificent example of a dum-dum. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. And I'm glad we could I think we learned a little bit in that a lot of us may not have known the kind of deeper story of what was going on in terms of the Southwest story. And now we know, hey, congrats. You know there were 3 levels of problems that all hit at the same time. So there you go. Southwest liable for negligent infrastructure. Arguably, yes. And they'll refund passengers, and then they will give them a little extra credit on a flight coming up. And that will buy them like a step in the right direction. So, any live streams from the airport? Surely how they handle this frustration and thwarting dreams will be example to the world. Are they eating each other yet? Not quite. I mean, they're handing out a lot of hotel vouchers, and the hotels themselves and the restaurants in the area aren't complaining much. A lot of people, though, interestingly enough, Southwest and other airlines, when they do run into problems like this, count on people not asking, and certainly not asking twice. They just, because they want to get where they're going, they just sleep in the airport and don't ask for what they deserve, which is a hotel voucher and a meal. And I would like to say to you, all of my viewers right now, if you're ever in a situation where they have punted and they say you can't get out till tomorrow or whatever, don't wait another second to go, I'm going to need a hotel voucher and a meal voucher then. Because the minute they start making a list, it'll take some time, and they'll add you to the list right then. If they don't just hand them to you because or they'll go, yeah, they're coming with them in a little bit. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll just wait. Don't be a dick to them because it's not their fault. It's not the gate agent's problem. It's not their fault that this is happening. But never be afraid to ask for those kind of vouchers, because it doesn't cost the person you're talking to anything. You're not asking them for a favor. You're not asking them to put themselves over a barrel in a way that their boss will go, well, if I hand out these vouchers, I'm going to get docked a day's pay. Doesn't work that way at all. It's not their problem. It's none of their limitations, and they're happy to do it most of the time. So go. Oh, Philly Dana says hello and miss you. Oh, right on. Hi. So, specifically, just you guys, anybody watching this right now, bless your heart. If you're ever in a situation where you're being kept overnight, or you've got a flight it's ass in the morning and you're not going to get out, we can get you on the 6 a.m. or the 9 a.m. Get the 9 a.m., get a voucher, get the free breakfast at the hotel, take it easy on yourself. Travel is stressful enough. Feel free to pad it unless you desperately have to get someplace. And then if you have to go planes, trains, and automobiles, knock yourself the fuck out. But I'm saying you now have permission. I, as a human being, am giving you permission, if you ever think you needed it, to, when you're in this situation, go, I'm going to need a voucher for sleep and food. Because they will give it to you, and it's better to get it. Just go. Just get it and move on. Go, yeah, I'm not getting out till tomorrow? No, there's nothing going to happen. Okay, cool. Can I get a voucher right now? And I'll just piss off and you won't have to worry about me. Right? I want a voucher-ish. Right. So, there you go. Now, I think we've been covering a few things where we haven't necessarily seen the same thing over and over. Yeah, we got Fox and Friends out of the way. We got Michael Weiner out of the way. What's this? Oh, okay. This is fairly short, I think so. Maybe go this. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm amazed as much as you are that this motherfucker is still on the internet, or that anybody still listens to him, because none of what he has said about any of the great conspiracies he has clamored about have ever come true. None of it. Jade Helm wasn't shit. None of the school shootings were false flags to take away your guns. Obama didn't take away your guns. Like, none of that shit ever happened. It's always been bullshit. It's just a lot of bullshit, and it's staying that way. It's amazing to me that anybody actually buys this and continues to watch this asshole show. And it's particularly galling to me because how many fucking times do I have to be right before I'm pulling down the what the fuck numbers was InfoWars pulling down like fucking millions of dollars in a day at certain times, like $900,000 a day and a 3-hour program. As wrong as that motherfucker is, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's where the money is. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong in life. Maybe there's more money in being wrong and full of shit than there is in being caring and right. And if that's the case, tough shit, Sparks. Suck it up. I don't care. Meanwhile, like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show if you feel like it. But if you don't, if you only support things that are wrong, then I'm glad that you're just hanging out. Because everybody needs a break from even their favorite thing, you know? Maybe I'm the one-man force reinvigorating Alex Jones viewers. Maybe that's what my lot in life has become, is that they're like, I can't watch shit that's wrong all the time. I got to take a break so it's still exciting. Anyways, he's talking about the Great Reset and lockdown, and this is new. It feels like it's from fucking 4 years ago.
In my film Endgame, made in 2007,
which nobody gives a shit about and turned out to be wrong.
I explained how they're going to lock down the cities, not let cars inside the cities.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
And track everywhere you go.
Still not happening. And by the way, they, whoever the fuck they are the individuals, because we are all, if you're wearing an Apple Watch or some shit, you're tracking where you're going all the time. But big tech, turns out they aren't, unless you got TikTok, which this motherfucker I'm sure supports. There's the theys, the them, they. No one knows who is them. Only they know who is them. Aren't tracking you. And by the way, if they are, if you leave your phone at home, they're fucked, I guess. They, them.
And then jack up taxes on everybody outside the cities and cut resources off to the rural areas as well.
Oh, you mean like broadband? So we're not supplying. So the blue states aren't going to pay for the red states anymore? Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. Secondly, when? When is that shit happening? Because the exact opposite is true. Big, highly populated cities have their funds depleted in dealing with those high populations to pay for low population states that want to pretend that they're tax-free.
And how they describe how they're going to send these paramilitary environmentalist forces.
Yes. These folks in green ghillie suits to force you to recycle.
Into the rural areas to literally take your farms and nationalize them under corporate control.
First of all, nationalizing them under corporate control is not a thing. Selling your farm to a company is not you acquiescing to, I don't know, to Mussolini in absentia.
And now if you look at Europe and Australia and everywhere, they're doing it, Canada, and now they're announcing it here. It is.
Oh my God, the people have disappeared.
So.
Oh God, is that video of the rapture? It has to be, because I'm still here. God damn it, I have to find a new place for this. I'll figure it out. All right, here we go. You were saying?
Criminal beyond belief. And
it's terrible. I don't believe it. So it is beyond belief, because it sounds like bullshit.
The public isn't expecting.
Look at everybody's gone from that fake city.
To get hit by something like that.
No, they're definitely not expecting. I don't expect it. But that's the thing about the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Because people still think they're in Kansas.
Well, people in Kansas certainly are under that false impression. By the way, is that Vehicles on Tracks? Is that the end of Defending Your Life?
Like they say in The Wizard of Oz.
Complete endgame blueprint for global enslavement. Great. Way to go, dumbass. They wouldn't have known how to do it, except you. You can't give the Illuminati or the fucking Bilderberg group a complete blueprint for how to do it. Buy us some time. Make them figure it out themselves, dumb shit.
You're not in Kansas.
Unless you are, in which case, hi. If you are in Kansas, don't get confused. That's not Kansas, by the way, just in case. It can be very confusing. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And now I feel bad for people in Wichita.
Anymore.
Wait, and by the way, he plays, he sells shit. Okay, here we go.
Statements and documents and leaked documents.
Yeah, and those are the worst kind because they're hard to read because they're still wet. leaked documents are so gross.
And to actually see them doing it all.
Ew, you can see them doing it? Yeah, I don't want to see them doing it.
We're at that critical juncture where they're emerging and their whole project is coming out in the open.
Like the Eloy, they're coming up out of the manhole covers. It's sneaking up on us. Here it comes. Oh, sorry. I thought it was something else.
And it is so diabolical.
It's very diabolical. The whole thing is very diabolical. It's so diabolical that they set this plan in motion and then they never actually carry it out. And that's how they get you. By not getting you. Aha!
Is so over the
this. Can we just say that this is... How can you tell this fucking entire well has just gone dry? He looks like a weather balloon with facial hair. That's just rude to weather balloons.
Tyrannical. It is ridiculous.
It is, I agree. Finally, something we can agree on. This whole fucking thing is ridiculous. You're ridiculous. The fact that I even have to watch you is ridiculous. I think this is all part of some depopulation scheme to get us all to just laugh ourselves to death. You Wolverine with a shellfish allergy looking motherfucker.
And we've got a domesticated population in the West that's had it so good.
Yeah, that's also how they give it by giving you a good life. That's how they get ready to herd you. Is that how it works? Because no evil empire would just go ahead and kill you. They want to watch you go, but I had so much fun. There's so much shopping left to do.
So long that people have no idea what's hitting them.
Yeah, it's almost like they've been watching your show for so long and none of it has off that they're going, maybe, just maybe, this might be bullshit.
And by the time they've got their cashless society in, by the time they've got their programs of...
Their programs? Pogroms? Sorry. Play, stupid. Oh, I don't know why it doesn't do that sometimes.
That people have no idea what's hitting them.
No.
And by the time they've got their cashless society in, by the time they've got their programs of programmable currencies in place.
Programs of programmable currencies? Is that a program I can watch about the programmable currencies in the programs? Oh, you mean crypto? When they were trying to force crypto on us by making it collapse? The Illuminati's been brilliant with the rollout of crypto. They almost got me.
It is going to be so hellish in their own admissions.
Yeah, that's a useless sentence. That meant nothing. Great.
Here's an example. In my film Endgame, made in 2007, I explained how they're going to lock down the cities, not let cars inside the cities, and
yeah, we saw that part. Okay, skip. Skip, bitty skip. Back up to here, I think.
Like they say in The Wizard of Oz, you're not in Kansas anymore.
That's because she was actually from Kansas. And by the way, I would like to say for the record that in The Wizard of Oz, it turns out she was dreaming the whole time and she never left Kansas. She actually was in Kansas the whole time. Spoiler alert.
And all the tactics of tyrants with a high-tech overlay are being implemented now, and that's my greatest frustration.
Is it? You sure your greatest frustration isn't still being able to wear those jeans from college?
I woke up at like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night last night, got up, got a glass of water, shook my head.
Because you drink by pouring it over your head? I understand.
And I went in and looked at my 5-year-old daughter sleeping, and I just thought,
creepy things?
How can the establishment be doing this?
What, making you thirsty at 3 o'clock in the morning? Making her sleep safely in her bed? How can it be that Joe Biden is president and she's fine? Except for she's got a fucking lunatic for a father. I mean, that's not something government can fix, though.
how can they be targeting children? How can they be trying to give newborn babies poison shots and 6 months up are being given them? And it really comes down to this.
It's got to be difficult to even talk with that much gas.
The globalists hate humanity. They hate you.
Do they? Who would they be? Who are these globalist people? Just so I could, if I see them on the street and they give me shit, at least I know why.
And they see you as a useless eater. They see you as bugs in their pantry eating their food.
So it's basically just Henry Kissinger is who you're talking about. Who, by the way, the right is currently celebrating because he thinks the rest of the world should talk it out with Russia.
And they want you gone.
Oh, so that's what the hurricanes are about. That's why they keep making hurricanes. And then they gave Trump the magic Sharpie that made the hurricanes even worse. This is just them mowing down people. This is an adrenochrome truck.
And they want you to accept dystopia, and the whole process of what they tell their minions will be the end of
Oh, you mean pollution?
The world by 2030, the end of the world as we know it. And then you'll...
well, I feel fine. I mean, I've still got a little bit of a tickle cough, but I feel all right, you know, getting a decent amount of sleep and appetite strong. It's not a big deal.
Own nothing and have nothing.
Well, these people have a lot of stuff. Too much stuff, I would argue.
And that's why they're different minions, from Greta Thunberg to
Thunberg,
AOC to
she's got a full name too, but don't memorize it.
Beto, to all of them tell you it'll be the end of the world by 2030. When they say the end of the world, they mean the end of the world as we know it.
Well, yeah, because they think it's going to be 2%, a 2-degree rise in temperature, and that will have a irreversible effect on climate, at least in our lifetime, and that'll be to the detriment of a lot of people, and will certainly affect your ability to buy things and sell things and travel and all that kind of stuff when you have extraordinary weather issues caused by a rise in temperature at that height. Now, none of them are saying 2030, by the way, but you're making up everything else, so why even bother interrupting?
Hell on earth, and they're implementing it, and they are...
Is she listening to him right now going, I am? I'm implementing hell on earth right now. How?
Telling you.
Oh, it's the Pope. Well, obviously the Pope. I mean, clearly the Pope.
They are telling us that...
Oh, he's in Rome. That's weird. What's he doing there?
We deserve it, and it's our fault that viruses are about to come out of the jungle and kill us all.
No, I mean... You mean humanity? I think everybody means just you. I mean, if anybody looks like a super spreader, it's Alex Jones.
And it's our fault that there's no energy.
Look at them having a private meeting that other people were not able to be privy to. It's these secret meetings that the Pope was having with Greta Thunberg that really, I think, give us all pause.
And the power's going off, and it's our fault there's fentanyl all over the streets.
Look at them touching. It's gross.
Streets. But it's not our fault. It's their fault. They are implementing it, and they're directing against us. But there is a slip.
Sorry, they're directing the fentanyl? So why would Biden tout the stopping of it? That's just for show, probably.
Of truth there. There's a kernel of truth there. It is our fault in the final equation.
Yeah, well, not Alex's fault, your fault, my fault, everybody else's fault. It's not his fault. He's been trying to warn us about things that haven't happened or continually don't happen. But still, it's a warning nonetheless. If I say duck and there's nothing being swung at your head, still technically a warning, isn't it? Or is it? Shit.
If we sit here and we let these people do this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the phones up on any...
Oh, boy.
Any issue, any topic you want to cover, but...
Okay, so he's out of shit to talk about. He's just been blathering to get through the segment.
Only for first-time callers today.
Because anybody who's called for a second time is going to go, motherfucker, you said...
So first-time callers get a chance to get on the air with us.
Great. Yes, because there's so many new listeners and viewers of InfoWars. I mean, they're growing their audience all the time, and a lot of people just, long-time listener, first-time caller, Man, are you full of shit. By the way, I could call in, I guess, and get on, because I've never called in. I've been on the show, but I've never called into the show.
And we're going to cover all of these issues together.
How are we're gonna keep our clothes on, right?
I'll give the number out in a moment. Here are some of the other
I'm not interested, but you can.
big topics that would be drilling into in great detail.
Great detail. Great. Excellent. So you're not going to talk in kind of like blathery, long-winded generalities that don't turn out to be true. You're going to go to specifics that don't turn out to be true. Awesome. Here we go.
The latest on the COVID attack and how it's all coming out that was premeditated and gain function.
Great. So it was a premeditated COVID attack that happened during Trump, and he let it happen, and he sold American agricultural and meat goods to the people who attacked us. So again, Alex Jones on record as Trump is an agent of death. Cool. Okay. And
the police state response, not just
the police state response. Isn't the complaint in the United States that there is no law and order, and that you can just, like, if you wanted to shoplift, nobody will stop you? Aren't they making the argument that crime is run rampant and there's no law and order at all? So how do you have a police state where everybody just goes free? They haven't even arrested Trump yet, and he had classified documents at his half-assed hotel.
Cyberspace, but on the ground to try to bully and outlaw and criminalize questioning their attack, because we're beating them in the information war.
Are ya?
With the truth.
Are ya?
Then we've got a window into what the world's going to look like as the resources are cut off.
The resources they're cut off. They don't run out. They're doing it on purpose. They've got it's one of those things like Elysium where they've got like an abundancy garden and we just don't have the key. We're getting into flat earth territory, right? Let me guess. You go to the edge of the world. There's a nice wall. If you try to cross it, the black helicopters kill you, because right outside that, from that point on, it's Eden. Is that where we're going?
With what happened in Japan when they had their Chernobyl, their Fukushima event.
Oh, yes. So Fukushima was their Chernobyl. How about it was just their Fukushima?
And crime that's already the lowest in the world in Japan went to 0 recorded for more than 6 months after that disaster.
Why do they only have like criminals working at the nuclear facility?
The Japanese people came together.
Yummy. I think I've seen that manga. It's been a while.
They're fine people. Too bad they're having 1.2 children and will be extinct in another 100 years or so, it's estimated.
In another 100 years or so? So there's still time.
But if you look at what's happened in the United States or Europe now.
Go on.
Once there is a crisis like the massive amounts of deaths and crises and 10 feet of snow in...
That's what it is. The globalists are going to kill us with a white Christmas.
New York State.
10 feet of snow in New York State.
What do you see there? Looting and crime and murder.
In 10 feet of snow? Those are some dedicated criminals, I got to say. Like I don't know about you, but I won't go out in that kind of snow, to get snack. I'll order in. I'll crack open tins of tuna fish and fix stuff at home before I'll go in that. To go out and actually commit murder in the snow. First of all, you're going to trail evidence all the way back to your house. I mean, obviously blood and snow, very stark contrast.
Now, I'm not saying
that somebody stealing a flat screen is...
The American people in general are bad people.
Yeah, you kind of are.
But a culture of crime and criminality has been promoted. And
has it?
Has been protected by the Democratic Party in particular. that is normalized.
Is it?
Class.
Oh, it's because we won't like throw the book at everybody who attacked the Capitol and arrest Trump. Is that why?
Warfare. But it's not class warfare to go rob somebody's house or some family-owned convenience store. It is divide and conquer, designed to bring down civilization.
Have all the other times that looting has occurred ever been successful in bringing down civilization throughout the centuries? When the Vikings did it as a job. No? If that didn't bring it down, why? How's a couple of wrecked CVS's going to do it?
And we have a...
I'm just saying Alex Jones has more faith in low-level criminals than I do.
Media that exacerbates every crisis.
Right. The American people are not bad people. It's just that American criminals are more dedicated than Japanese criminals. And the other thing, too, is that it's going out in a snowstorm versus going out in a nuclear radiation spill. Kind of different. Just saying, there weren't a lot of people like looting in the vicinity of Fukushima. For the record, the way, you might go out in the snow.
We've got for more control.
Jesus, that was there's nothing there now. By the way, you're watching infotainmentwars.com. We don't need the documents. We have everything memorized. But I'm not above looking up articles on stuff. But hold on. There's a minute left in this. I think he just does an ad. He always ends these with an ad. Yes.
Introducing InfoWars, super high-end supplement line.
Yes. Get some lead in your pencil, literally. Let's see. He ends it with an ad because that's how shit floats. And look at me, not even ending with an ad, except you should like and subscribe and give a thumbs up and support the show in any way that you can. And if you can't, please relax and enjoy it, because that's really what I want from the show, is for you to go, you know what? Hal was right, and I feel pretty good. That brings me joy. When you have those moments, when you have those, throughout your day, when you see a tweet come up or you're talking to somebody else or something in the news plays out exactly like I said it was, I want those moments, and I know you have them because I've seen people write about them online. That makes me feel good. That's the whole purpose of this show. I'm just going to say, oh, thank you, Diane. Bless you for that. Thank you for the Venmo. When you guys have those moments and you let me know and you're like, yep, right again. There you are. I was worried, but you said don't worry, and now it's better. And it just makes me feel good. I'm glad. That's why I do it. Very happy that I can be of service in this tumultuous and very, very silly time we all live in. Because let's be abundantly clear. Things are silly right now. They are no more dangerous, damning, and horrifying than at any other major flux point in history, for the record. And there's kind of, especially on a technological and health level, there's never been a better time to be alive. Cancers that would have killed you 5-10 years ago, now people get over them in a couple of months, and it won't bankrupt you the way it used to. Things like that. Like, it's better. Lots of things are better. There's still shit we have to do, but that shit's been going on forever. It's not like a single generational win is going to solve most of humankind's problems, but we're ratcheting a bunch of them down. And I'm proud of you guys for hanging in there, for making it through, keeping your chin up, smiling, visiting my show, showing up. And by the way, if I may, let me see if I can bring this up real quick, since we've been through quite a bit today and I'm a little over time. If I may, 3, 2, 1. I want to say hi to you guys. You can't have it all. Where would you put it? Great Stephen Wright line, if I may. Thank you, Water Goddess. I try to be good medicine for you guys. Yes, falling apart is not an option. Murder in the Snow, written by Donnie and his magic Sharpie. Right. Hamburgers. G'day. How are you? It's nice. And hello. I do need my beauty sleep. It's true. There's not enough sleep available to make me beautiful, but I can be cute, and that's enough for almost anyone. I'd settle for occasionally handsome, but I know I will need a tan for that. Yes, I did, Marcia. Thank you so much. I did get that Cash App, and I appreciate it. I said it day before yesterday, but it might have been during the time I was filling in for Joan, so I don't know. You see Andrew Tate got arrested today? No, I didn't. That's hilarious. Andrew Tate, what did he get arrested for? Is it illegal to be an asshole? Uh-oh, I got to look for cover. Thanks. Yes, I need a George Hamilton. I got some nice super chats. Let's review them. Carrie, thank you so much. That's right. Andrea, thank you so much for the super chat. Stephanie, bless you. Becky C, thank you for the super chat. That's amazing. Oh gosh, Carol Cobb. Javanka's efforts to rise above the 45's problems don't seem to be working. I agree, and they won't. And that's fun. Imagine being in a situation where having $2 billion doesn't unfuck your world. Look it up now? Okay, I'll look it up. That's funny. Please tell me it was like drunk driving. Whoa! Arrested in Romania for rape and human trafficking. Wow! Fuck that dude! Yeah, it's The Guardian. Whoa! Give me 1 second. Let me bring this up. That is, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Look at this shit. Organized crime and rape charges. Yikes! The controversial online influencer, that's a good way of putting it, has been accused by prosecutors of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content. He's pimping, basically. Controversial online asshole, self-described misogynist. No, well, I think that's affirmed at this point. Has been detained in Romania, because that's where you want to go to jail. Romania. On charges of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. Former kickboxer and reality TV star, who's been banned from a number of social media platforms for misogynistic comments and hate speech, was arrested alongside his brother and 2 other suspects. They would be detained for 24 hours from the anti-organized crime unit and stay with it. The Tate brothers have been under criminal investigation since April. They declined to comment, but their lawyer confirmed that they had been detained. Andrew Tristan Tate had the utmost respect for Romanian authorities and will always assist and help in any way they can. Apparently not. According to the translated statement from the investigators, 6 women who were allegedly sexually exploited by the organized criminal group have been identified. The 4 suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. They would have gained important sums of money. Fuck that dude. Goodbye. That's so... Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And my heart goes out to the women who were exploited by this rancid fuck. And I gotta say, it's on brand for douchebags like him. That's amazing. I wouldn't qualify this as one of the happy endings like I would have on the end of my show, on Saturdays, because we like it to be a happy ending on that show is truly about like things that have no downside, That's why I like to talk about a lot of renewables and that kind of shit. But for all practical purposes, it's good news that this motherfucker is going away for the long goodbye. Check out why he was caught. He got busted trying to dunk on... Well, Greta T got him. Oh, that's amazing. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, this is the controversial ex-kickboxer... so the handcuffed Tate 36 who rose to fame. Look at this douchebag. Ha ha. The Brit who was born in D.C. but raised in Luton is under investigation by the Directorate of Investigating Organized Crime, DCOT, whatever. So questioned in April when police reportedly found 2 girls who claimed they were being held against their will. The brothers were released while the investigation continued, but were detained again on Thursday in connection with an investigation of human trafficking. Yeah, that means trial. Said the Tate brothers were along to unnamed people appear to be okay. Spokesperson for Tate told the Mirror we cannot provide any details. Tate was the most searched man on the internet earlier this week when he was banned from social media sites including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, as well as YouTube. His Twitter account was restored when Elon Musk completed his takeover. But yeah, this is par for the course for Elon Musk's Twitter batting average. He gave this motherfucker his account back. People need to ask Elon Musk about his buddy Andrew Tate. What a fucking creep. Pizza boxes. TMZ mentions the pizza and the Greth. Oh, I see. Okay. Hold on. Andrew Tate pizza box. All right, look at that. Oh, it was his response. That's hilarious. It was his response to Greta Thunberg that he posted, his stupid little fucking video. He had a Romanian pizza company in the shot. Romanian authorities needed proof that Andrew Tate was in the country, so they reportedly used his social media post. His ridiculous video yesterday featured a pizza from Romanian pizza chain Jerry's Pizza, confirming he was in country. Fuck you. Ah, it's so great. What an asshole. Yeah, this is from this whole exchange. Downfall in 4 parts. That's where he wrote this thing. She was like, email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. He's like, thank you for telling everybody you had a dick or whatever, which is this stupid, weird. I do agree you should get like just lame shootbacks. And in it, he's fucking smoking cigars and in his douchebag robe in some obviously Eastern European sitting room with 2 pizzas. Poorly rated by armed police in Romania. Fuck you. Oh, that's so good. What a nice way to end the show. That's awesome. They get 25 years? Oh, I hope so. Mwah. That's so nice. Look at us, just winding down the... Oh, it's super good. That's a nice way to... That ends the show with a smile on my face. By the way, tomorrow morning, morning show and afternoon show, like as usual. Super good. Jerry's Pizza for the win. We're all going to have to just see if we can get Jerry's Pizza. Although I don't know that I'd want to eat the same pizza this dude was ordering. But doxed by the box. That's so fun. Hype train on the way out the door. Thank you so much. And Becky C, again, thank you. And Shadow Woman, thank you for gifting those subs. Really lovely. Larry Fig, thanks for the super chat. I love Hal Sparks and his amazing team. I agree. Our mods and CSL, I've still got his Christmas gift, and we were going to meet up today. And then I had my flight school this morning, and then when I got done, we were missing and trying to coordinate and all that stuff. And then hopefully I'll have, I was going to have a flight lesson tomorrow and not do a morning show. However, my flight instructor's mother, bless her heart, is in the hospital. And so he can't do the lesson tomorrow. So boo-hoo. So I will be doing a morning show, and hopefully I will be able to reschedule. The important thing is his mom and her health and all that kind of stuff. It's not a big deal. There are worse reasons to cancel. There was also, today it was very overcast, so it would have been a ground school day anyways. Hal's going through a midlife crisis. Why? Because I'm learning to fly? I started that before COVID. Everything shut down. So I'm kind of almost starting from scratch, except for the fact that I now, I'm way ahead of the curve. I I got the Bernoulli effect down. I know how to program my radio. I know how to use like METAMs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He flew a Cessna 150 and a 172. You mean a 152 and a 172? They're good. Those are high wings. I like the SR-20s. So cool. With the cap system. Yeah, good times. Thank you so much, Karen. Praying for his mom too. So Southwest is hiring. Yep. I hope to get on the roster for them. Be hilarious. So anyways, love you guys, and I will see you later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for all your support and love and being here and all that stuff. And I'm so glad we could end on some good news. That's bad news for Andrew Tate and his dipshit brother and his two asshole friends and everybody who's been paying this prick through whatever his Taint Academy thing that he does. Level 5 hype train, right before we go out. We got 2 minutes left before that goes away. So if you feel like helping us out on Twitch, go for it. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't in a long time. And if you have, that's totally fine. I appreciate it. It means a lot. And if you gift them, that's terrific too. And thank you guys, mods. And thank you, by the way, again, to the trolls for being here. Because you give us eyeballs that we wouldn't have otherwise. And you raise us up in the algorithm in ways that we wouldn't do normally amongst ourselves. And you give me the gift that you can never take back, which is your time. If you give your time willingly and wantingly to a pastime or a movie or a game you're playing or a friend or hanging out in someplace, that's something you willingly do, and it's a good use of your time. If you give it to someone who you, I guess, supposedly hate, that's fucking amazing and makes you the dumbest person on earth. But I'm glad you're bringing your dumbness here because, again, it elevates me in the algorithm. It's just so good. It's so good. And I hope, not only do I hope that the trolls are here and grinding their teeth at what I just said, but I hope all of you, all the trolls that are mad right now, are mad because they also invested in that Andrew Tate's douchebag academy thing where they were going to make a bunch of money in crypto and shit. And just flushing that money right down the shitter. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. Anyways, the rest of you, though, I love you and thank you for spending time with me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. thing. Look who came and visited me. Look who came to visit. Look who came to say hi and was running around. This is Ash, everybody. There you go. Okay. All right. Don't jump down. Don't jump down. I got you. I got you. You're okay. Hold still. There you go. Here you go. Here you go. You want to swap out? Hello. These big claws. So be careful. Hi. This one's great. Look at this. What does Smokey came and said hi? Hi. Hello. What's going on? What's going on, Smokey? What are you doing? They're both doing very well. Okay, much love. See you guys later.